For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description. Hey, what's up, people? Piz out here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the Scream Factory Collector's Edition 2-disc Blu-ray release for Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Now, this is the at least third video that I've done on this channel talking about Black Christmas, which is okay because, in my opinion, Black Christmas is a movie worthy of all the praise that's ever been heaped upon it. And if I do 10 videos talking about Black Christmas, I don't think I'll ever do the film justice, because to me, Black Christmas is not just a holiday horror classic. I think it's a horror classic. I think this is the best murder mystery slasher movie out there. When I think of this movie, I think of a perfect slasher movie that I think belongs right up there alongside the far more recognizable likes of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, and so on. And this is the Scream Factory Blu-ray release for the film, which came out last year. And I had balked at picking up this Blu-ray because I already own 2 different Critical Mass DVD releases for the film, and I got the Seasons Grievings Anchor Bay Canada Blu-ray a couple of years ago when it came out. So I was kind of on Black Christmas overload. Now, this Blu-ray contains a new 2K transfer of the film and a couple of new extras that have not been on any of the previous releases. But what's interesting about this Blu-ray release is that it contains most, if not all, of the extras that were on the Critical Mass DVDs, as well as the Anchor Bay Canada Seasons Grievings Blu-ray release. So this is a pretty nice, collection of all the extras, maybe not all, but most of the extras that were on all of these other releases. And we get, of course, a brand new 2K transfer. Now, as for Black Christmas, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about it as if you guys have seen Black Christmas. So there will most likely be some spoilers ahead if you haven't. So be warned, if you haven't seen Black Christmas, by all means, go watch Black Christmas. Stop this video now. Go watch Black Christmas, because you are doing yourself a huge, huge disservice not watching this movie. Now, as I said before, to me, this is a perfect slasher movie. It's my favorite murder mystery slasher movie. And this movie, from a technical point of view, I just think is absolutely flawless. This is an absolutely beautiful looking film. It captures that holiday feeling. It was very innovative for its time. This was 1974. This was long before Steadicam. So all those great POV shots, it was literally the cameraman with the camera strapped onto his shoulder, which could not have been comfortable considering the fact that he was climbing trellises and going up and down, the attic ladder all day long. It could not have been comfortable for the cameraman with a camera strapped on his shoulder doing all that physical stuff. From a character point of view, all the characters in this film are really well defined and really developed. Every character in the film. And the characters in this movie, they feel like real people, in that each character kind of has their own light and dark side. They're all dealing with, various issues. For instance, and again, this movie was very ahead of its time, I think, from just a storytelling point of view, because Olivia Hussey's character in this film is actually dealing with an unwanted pregnancy and wanting to have an abortion. Margot Kidder's character in this film clearly has a lot of issues. And what Bob Clark does brilliantly, and he does this in a lot of his films, particularly the horror films, is this great balance of humor and horror. You've got some really nice, lighthearted moments in the film, particularly with Margot Kidder's character. Yet on the flip side of the coin, Margot Kidder's character is someone with a lot of personal issues. And it's all set to the backdrop, of course, of Christmas, the most, happy time of year. And that's when I think of holiday horror, and I think of that juxtaposition of Christmas time with a good dark horror movie. Black Christmas is always the film that comes to mind because of that great balancing act. It feels like a holiday movie. It's got the warmth of a holiday movie. It's got the humor of a holiday movie, yet at the same time, it's pretty dark when it needs to be dark. The pacing of this movie, I think, is absolutely flawless. The phone calls from the killer are, again, very much ahead of their time. And even by today's standards, still very, very disturbing. And I love the fact, love the fact that the killer goes free at the end. We never know who the killer in Black Christmas was. We never see the killer other than a few flashes here and there, or in shadow, or we see his hands, we see his feet, etc. There's no backstory to the killer other than what we can glean from these these very disturbing phone calls. And the ending of the film, in which we think, oh, it's over, and we realize that no, it's not, and the phone is ringing, and we realize that the killer is still very much out there. No matter how many times I see the film, that ending with the phone ringing as we fade to black it's just chilling. It sends a chill up my spine, no matter how many times I see this film. And I think all that is a testament to the late, great Bob Clark. And I've said this every time I've discussed a Bob Clark film on this channel. I've said this, and I will say it again. I think Bob Clark is one of the most underrated filmmakers ever. When you look at his body of work and the fact that he was able to make successful films in virtually every single genre. Just look at Black Christmas, then look at A Christmas Story. You have Christmas movies on the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You have a dark horror film, you have a light family comedy, and both of them are holiday classics. But, look at a movie like Porky's. Look at a movie like, Baby Geniuses. These are, Porky's a very, raunchy comedy, hugely successful. Baby Geniuses, a family kind of comedy, but hugely successful. Bob Clark was a fantastic filmmaker and someone who is very underappreciated. And I don't think he ever got the acclaim that he deserved, in his lifetime, which is unfortunate because, again, one of the most underappreciated filmmakers ever, one of the most versatile filmmakers, period. But I cannot say enough good things about Black Christmas. This is a horror classic. This is a holiday horror classic. This is my favorite murder mystery slasher movie. This is a great slasher movie. This is a great horror movie, period. I watch this movie every year during the holidays, and it's been a staple of my holiday horror habits, literally for the past, I don't even know how long. I remember I bought the movie on VHS. There were so many years where this movie was just, you couldn't find it anywhere. It was completely out of print. There was a sort of cult following for the film. It was much smaller. back in the day. But when I finally got my hands on the VHS of the movie and I watched the film for the first time, it not only lived up to the hype, but it obliterated the hype. I just love this movie. I cannot say enough good things about it. And I'm glad that I picked up this Blu-ray release during Black Friday, because as I said, this is a great sort of collection of most, if not all, of the extras from the prior Black Christmas releases, as well as a couple of new extras, and the picture quality and sound quality on here via the new 2K transfer are both pretty darn good. As far as extras are concerned, we have Film and Furs, a brand new interview with Art Hindle. It is 26 minutes and 11 seconds in length. Mr. Hindle discusses how he got cast in Black Christmas, the rehearsal process, and working with Bob Clark. He discusses working with the ladies of Black Christmas and how it was really like a sorority, fraternity type atmosphere on the set. He discusses working with the great John Saxon. Mr. Hindle discusses the filmmaking climate in Canada at the time and how he is currently involved in the filmmaking scene there, including mentoring young filmmakers, etc. And yes, he still has the fur coat that he wore in Black Christmas. Very nice interview with Mr. Hindle. Next up, we have Victims and Virgins, a brand new interview with Lynn Griffin. It's 26 minutes and 35 seconds in length. She discusses being cast in the film and during her audition being asked how long she could hold her breath. And when she said that she could hold her breath a long time because she was a swimmer, she felt like it was that more so than her acting ability that got her cast in the role. She discusses how fun it was to work with Bob Clark. She discusses working with Olivia Hussey. She also discusses working with the cat Claude, who she describes as being a real diva. Miss Griffin discusses Black Christmas's legacy as well as director Bob Clark's legacy. Very nice interview with Miss Griffin. Next up, we have Black Christmas Legacy. This was from the Seasons Grievings release of the film. It's 40 minutes and 22 seconds in length. It includes interviews with Lynn Griffin, Margot Kidder, John Saxon, Olivia Hussey, Nick Mancuso, Carl Zitterer, and with archival interview footage from Bob Clark, as well as horror journalists and fans, and My Bloody Valentine director George Mahalka. They discuss the impact of Black Christmas on the horror genre and the film's lasting impact and status as a horror classic. A very nice documentary about Black Christmas. Next up, we have the 40th anniversary panel at the Fan Expo 2014 featuring John Saxon, Art Hindle, Lynn Griffin, and Nick Mancuso. It's also from the Seasons Grievings release. It is 18 minutes and 2 seconds in length. Next up, we have On Screen Black Christmas, a documentary exploring the impact of Black Christmas on the Canadian film industry, featuring interviews with Bob Clark, co-producer Jerry Arbide, Keir Dullea, Margot Kidder, Art Hindle, John Saxon, Nick Mancuso, and many others. Very nice documentary about the making of Black Christmas, its impact on the horror genre, and on the Canadian filmmaking industry. It's 48 minutes and 41 seconds in length. Next up, we have 12 Days of Black Christmas. This was from the Critical Mass DVD release of the film. It's a documentary narrated by John Saxon about the making of Black Christmas, featuring interviews with Olivia Hussey, Art Hindle, Lynn Griffin, John Saxon, Doug McGrath, Burt Dunk, Carl Zitterer, Margot Kidder, and others. It's 19 minutes and 48 seconds in length. They discuss the casting of the film, the technical aspects of the film, the production design, the score, the shooting locations, the sound design, particularly when it came to the prank phone calls, the marketing of the film in both the U.S. and Canada, as well as the film's legacy. Very nice extra there. Next up, we have Black Christmas Revisited. This one is from the Critical Mass release as well. It's 36 minutes and 25 seconds in length. It is a tour of the house used in Black Christmas with Lynn Griffin and Art Hindle, featuring interviews with producers Gary Arbide and Victor Solnicki, Bob Clark, Keir Dullea, John Saxon, Carl Zitterer, and Burt Dunk. Miss Griffin and Mr. Hindle give us a guided tour of the house, 30-something years at that time that they shot the film in, while the others discuss the making of Black Christmas. Very, very nice. We get archival interviews with Olivia Hussey, Art Hindle, Margot Kidder, Bob Clark, and John Saxon. It's also from the Critical Mass release. The Bob Clark interview in particular is very, very good. Next up, we have the midnight screening Q&A from 2004. It's 20 minutes and 21 seconds in length with John Saxon, Bob Clark, and Carl Zitterer. We get 2 scenes from the film with a new soundtrack. We get theatrical trailers, both English and French. We get the original TV and radio spots. We get alternate title sequences, a photo gallery. We get an audio commentary with Bob Clark. We get an audio commentary with John Saxon and Keir Dullea. We get an audio commentary with Billy. And we get an audio interview with Bob Clark, which is a telephone interview with Bob Clark that plays over the film like a commentary. Now, I watched the film with the Bob Clark commentary many, many years ago on one of the Critical Mass releases. I do recall it being a very good commentary. However, this time around, I watched the film with the audio commentary by Billy. In other words, it's an audio commentary with Nick Mancuso, who remains in character as Billy throughout the entire thing. He's like eating and drinking while he's commentating. He does the whole thing in character as Billy, and I have to say it was pretty entertaining. It's very interesting to watch the movie with Billy providing commentary. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. This is a loaded Blu-ray release for Black Christmas. If you have not seen Black Christmas, go watch Black Christmas. You are doing yourself a huge disservice by not having seen this film. This is a classic, no doubt about it. If you've not seen Black Christmas, this Blu-ray would be an excellent way to introduce yourself to the film. If you are a fan of Black Christmas and you own those prior releases, I would still say pick up this Blu-ray. It's a great amalgamation of most of those extras that were on the prior releases. We get a new 2K transfer. We get some new extras, including that commentary with Billy, which might be worth the price of the Blu-ray alone. And it's Black Christmas. It's an absolute classic. I can't say enough good things about this movie. Rest in peace, Bob Clark. Again, one of the most underrated filmmakers ever. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. I'm hosting 2 giveaways right now. If you'd like to win a copy of the Scream Factory Collector's Edition 2-disc Silent Night, Deadly Night Blu-ray, put that link in the description. If you'd like to win one of 3 hand-painted Jason masks / hockey masks, I'll put that link in the description as well. I hope you all are having a fantastic holiday season. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a month club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Turi Delamore, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, and Derek Jana. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.